Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Snooker 19 career, the other O'Sullivan with me, Daniel. It's episode 9 and today we face John Higgins in the second round of the Scottish Open as we try to get revenge on him after he knocked us out of the UK Open last time around. We played against Graham Dott on camera in episode 8. Click on the eye above if you want to see that one. We managed to sneak our way through to the quarter-final in a quite scrappy affair, and then we lost out to John Higgins 3-0 in the quarters, so I didn't even bother showing you it. But we did manage to get into the world's top 100. We're now ranked 77 in the world, and it means we've started to get some slightly easier opponents in round 1 of competitions, which is something that will obviously benefit us. We've still had a few scrappy games in a row now, as we've started to lose a bit of form after that quarter-final appearance, but we've managed to get through to the second round, and we're in a good position against John Higgins today. So if we go and look at our pro, we've now got 10 wins from our 22 games, a highest break of 110 still, but we've got 4 centuries to our name now. We're ranked in the top 80, which is a brilliant achievement, and career earnings of over 30,000. So if we go to the ranking charts now, we're up in 77th place and just a few thousand behind the low 70s. Jimmy White's in 73rd. We could be overtaking him in this tournament, so there's plenty of positives on the horizon, and it looks like we're not a million miles away from breaking into the top 50. If we could do that before the end of year 1, that would be great, and then in season 2 we could start to compete for competitions. But let's get into the game today. Once we get into the frame, we'll try and relax things a little bit as we're in a relatively good position against Higgins. You can see here we lead 2-1. It's the first of 3 frames, so just one more to get us through to the third round and hopefully a slightly easier opponent. I'm not quite sure who's breaking. I think it might be us, to be honest. So we'll just get back into it and see who's breaking in frame 4, and hopefully we can get ourselves across the line. It is our break then. Let's try and hit a nice traditional shot. We tend to be going for a lot of forward spin at about 40%. We're getting it right almost every time now. It's just getting a bit more fluent and comfortable in the game. Just a time to remind you as we see this break shot, we've got a double header coming this weekend due to the bank holiday in England. So as well as this episode today, there'll also be another one on Monday at the earlier time of 12 o'clock before our usual FM19 video at 4:30. Here's John Higgins playing a nice safety shot, a really thin cut on the red, and if he's left it on at all, we'll go for it, and it looks like we've got a good potting angle here. He's left it right over the pocket and left us a free shot of the ball, so hopefully we'll be able to hold for the black if we hit it lightly enough. So we've just got to make sure we get off the cushion enough. We're going to go for about 25%, and fingers crossed this will just drop into the pocket and leave us nicely on the black. It hasn't. We've got a bit of an angle, so we'll be able to come off the cushion and into the reds. Fingers crossed that's how it'll work out. Let's just put the black in and make sure we get the points on the board. That's the most important thing in a deciding frame. It seems like pressure really gets to the players, so we want to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance. So if we can come in at full power and try and get off the cushion, it would potentially help us on this occasion. We're going to go at about 80%, and fingers crossed we'll bounce off nicely. We've not got any power on it at all, and it's not left us a red on, so we're just going to try and go gently into the pack, or maybe even play off for the bottom cushion. If we can get in behind the black, that would be great, but I don't want to get too arrogant about it, as we're really not too good from safety shots, so we may well get caught out. Let's just play it at about 18%. Hopefully that will take us off the cushion and back in behind the black, and as long as we're tight to that bottom cushion, it doesn't really matter too much. We're not 100% tight, but there's no pot on, so it looks like we've hit a relatively decent shot. John Higgins presumably will play the safety, just nestles off the first red and up behind the yellow. He's managed to hit it on the way through, and he doesn't quite get in behind the brown, so now we've got a relatively easy safety to get back up the table. Not the most exciting start to the frame, but I do love a bit of a safety exchange, so I'm not going to complain too much, and hopefully we'll be able to build a break soon. We've got the 8 points on the board, which is all that's important. We've tried to play a bit more of an attacking safety, really hitting the reds, but it's backfired a bit as we've cannoned into the brown, and we've left plenty of reds onto either corner. They're long pots, but John Higgins' quality can take them, and I'm sure he'll put this first one in. It's almost identical to what he left us. He's nestled it in nicely. He's on for the black, I think, so we're just going to see how this one pans out, and he's got the pink to the middle as well. If he pots the colour, then we'll let him build his break, and then we'll come back when we get a chance at the table. Fingers crossed we'll still be in the frame. We're back at the table quite quickly then. John Higgins just put 16 on the board before he runs out of position when trying to pot a long red, and he hasn't really left us anything on. It seems like he's got a little bit fortunate with that one. So we are just going to have to play a safety shot. If we can cut this red thin and avoid the others, hopefully we can then get back up to the top cushion. I'm hoping we'll be able to do that. We're just going to go for about 40% power. He's got a couple of extra cushions to come off, so we've got to take that into consideration. 38% we've hit it with in the end. We've missed the blue, but we may well pot the cue ball. What an awful shot that is. And John Higgins has got a bit of a lifeline. 4 points on the board for him. He opens up his lead to 12, and in a cagey last frame, that sort of mistake could be costly. It's a good pot from John Higgins. A brilliant spot in the pack there. That's the sort of one I would have instantly played safe on without even looking at what was available. He'll have to go for the blue or yellow as he's covered the pocket for the black, although he seems to reckon he can get there, and he's got a better judgment than me. A brilliant pot, although not the best angle on the red. This one's a little bit close, so he'll have to come up for the blue. I'm sure he won't be able to hold for the black. We'll see what he manages to do with this one, and again, if he's going to continue his break, we will just come back once he's left the table. It looks like he's put in a red to the middle. He's managed to get a good angle on the blue or yellow, so I think this is going to be a big break from John Higgins, and we may end up in another decider, just as we did against Graham Dott last time out. Let's quickly see if he puts the colour in. He's certainly going to do that, and now he's got a long red on, although he's not left the best angle, so he will just stay for one more shot. We'd love to get back to the table in this position. The reds are spread beautifully, but John Higgins has got other ideas. He's potted the red lovely, and now he's got loads of colours to choose from. He can't really get on the black, but blue or yellow could be the choice for him, and I'm sure he'll put blue into the top corner. He's managed to do that. John Higgins is absolutely flying. He's got an easy red to the colour, and we'll be back when his break ends. Well, we should have stayed with the action because with the very next shot, John Higgins made a positional mistake, got out of position for the black, and now he's just had to play a safety. We could try and pot this red down to the corner. It's a risky pot, but in the position of the frame we're in, if we can pot this red, we've got a brilliant chance to finish the frame. So we are going to try and rest it in. We're not going to hit it too powerfully, just 25%. We want to drop it into the pocket, although I think we've still hit that a little too hard. We've got away with it though, as the red drops beautifully. It did wobble off both sides of the jaws, but fortunately we've got away with it, and now we're on for the blue to the top corner. It is a long pot, but it's practically straight, so it's not going to be too much of an issue for us. We'll come back down the table with a lot of backspin and see if we can get on one of these reds. There's loads to choose from, so we've not got to be too fussy with our position. We've just got to make sure we pot the blue. We've managed to do that right into the heart of the pocket, and now we've got 2 or 3 reds to choose from as this becomes a frame winning opportunity. We're 27 points behind, but there's plenty left on the table, so if we could get a half-century break on the board here, we could well be in a very handy position. We need to come off the cushion for a colour, as the black's currently tied up, and with 68% we should have done that, even if it means we've got to go yellow to the corner. We've got yellow or green to choose from. We could even go for a thin cut on the brown, although that doesn't seem like the best option at the moment. The black's available too, but that's an extremely thin cut as well. I'm going to go for the green, as I think that's the best pot. If I could have got the pink in comfortably, I would, as that would be a lovely one to get back on its spot. We'd really like to have a colour to choose from at the bottom of the table, but as it is for this one, we've just got to go for the green. So we're going to go for plenty of forward spin. We need to get the cue ball back down the table, and hopefully we've done just that, although we may have potted the cue ball again. We've done it once today already, but we just survived this time, although I don't know if we've left ourselves a pot on other than a difficult red to the middle. Let's see if this bottom red below the black cuts. If we could get this in, it would be absolutely brilliant, as it would really take away the pressure on having to go up the table every time. Do you know what? I think we can just about get to the potting angle. If we just drop it in, I think we might be alright. If we overhit it at all, then we're going to be in big trouble, so we don't want to risk doing that at all. Just 20% power. Hopefully it'll go past the black. We can't see if it's dropped. What a useless angle to show us, and we've managed to miss it. That's certainly going to be frame over. What a disastrous effort at the pot. Why didn't we go for the simple one to the middle? John Higgins is surely going to pot that, although he's made a bizarre error. That's not the sort of error a world champion makes. That's really surprised me. I'm absolutely speechless by it. How has he missed that red? It's a really straight pot for us, and if we can backspin up for the black or blue, we're going to be in a frame winning position. It looks like we've been given a lifeline. Hopefully we can make the most of it. We've got plenty of backspin on that ball, and now we've got the option of black or blue with plenty of reds to choose from afterwards. This should really be the opportunity we take to win the match, and hopefully we'll be able to do so. Having said that, it's a very risky shot on the black, so we can either go for the straight blue or we can go for the pink. We can get the pink back on its spot and we can get back down the table for the reds. So I think that's the one we're going to go for, but we've got to learn our lesson from last time. 62% power was just too much, so we're going to stay at 54 on this occasion. We've managed to put the pink in the heart of the pocket. If we can leave ourselves a red to the middle or one to the bottom pocket, we're really in a good position. I just need the cue ball to come past that second red to make sure we've got a potting angle on the bottom one. I think it's managed to do just that, and it's worked out pretty perfectly, so we've just got to make sure we get up for the pink or black. We'll have two colours to choose from there. 36% power, make sure the red goes in, and now we've got a decent angle on pink or black. If we can get the black back on its spot, that would be an absolutely brilliant achievement. We're really in a good position now, and it's a chance to get a good half-century break on the board, as well as starting to build our confidence again. We've had a few scrappy frames, even in the first round of this one where we won 3-0. We didn't put a break on the board of more than 45, which really made us look a little bit poor. It was amateurish to say the least, and we really want to be dominating games at this stage, particularly against those lower ranked opponents. So we're going to put the black into the corner pocket, try and screw back for the two reds, just to give ourselves the choice of 2 or 3, rather than being tied down to 1. It looks like we've managed to do that pretty well, and then we'll have 2 evenly spread reds, which means we should be able to clear up the table nicely, as everything else is on or near its spot. We're going to put this red in then. Let's see what colour we can get on. I think the pink might well be covered, so we may have to screw back for the black. Or do we even come up for the blue like this? I think that's probably our better option. So we're just going to try and give ourselves a little bit of an angle. Not too much though. We don't want to have too much work to do at this stage. The red goes into the corner of the pocket. We really should have kept an eye on that one. And we come pretty high on the blue, so it's going to be hard to hold for one of the reds. Let's see if we can put this one into the middle. It shouldn't be too much of a difficult pot. And fingers crossed we'll be able to get a good potting angle. Although it doesn't look like we've played the best of shots. Really, we'd like to get to the other end of the table. So let's see if we can manage to do that. If we could finish just about there, where the line's ending at the moment, that would be absolutely brilliant. It gives us the red to the corner, and if we overrun it slightly, we've then got the other red to the middle. So let's try and hit that at 25%. We've managed to nail that perfectly, and fingers crossed we'll be on both reds. We've gone on the bottom one beautifully. Absolutely wonderful shot. We're really starting to get a bit of a touch on the bottom half of the table. It's only when we have to come up for the bulk colours, like we did when the pink was up there, that we really risk getting out of position. So let's see if we can screw back again, just to try and get a good angle on the pink, and once we clear that, the red should be easy. Fingers crossed then we can clear up. 31%, we've hit it perfect again. We've got a lovely angle on the pink, and we should be able to get on the red with no trouble at all. 22. Let's play the pink then. We know exactly what we want to do here. See if we can get a nice angle on the red. We want to make sure the pink spot doesn't get in the way, so if we have to come a little bit higher, then so be it. As long as we've got a decent potting angle, we're really not too worried. That's just about perfect. It's almost straight, and we should be able to get on a high value colour. We've taken the lead with that pink. We're 5 points ahead now. We've just 35 left on the table, so if we can get a couple of the colours in, we may not even need pink or black. I just want to see if we can get a good angle here. We want to make sure we're not too short on this black. We need an angle to get up for the yellow, but we also don't want to make it too tricky. So let's just try and leave ourselves pretty straight. We can backspin if need be. I've overhit it slightly, and the black's now too straight. We may have to go for pink to middle. You can see there the black is pretty much straight. It's going to be really difficult for us to get up for the yellow, so we may have to go pink to middle, which is a slightly more difficult pot. That looks like it's a pretty good pot to the middle for me, so we're just going to try and screw up for the yellow. We don't want to put too much pressure on things. We've rolled the pink in nicely, that's the most important bit, and look at the angle we've got there. That should be the frame all over now. I know it's easier said than done, but we very rarely throw these sort of positions away, so fingers crossed that will remain the record now as we try and get back on for the green. If we can just get in behind it for the same pocket, hopefully that would be ideal. We've managed to screw back off the yellow, and that's just about perfect. We've got a good angle to get onto the brown, and then I think we just need the blue to win the frame. In fact, looking at it now, we don't need the blue at all. We're 14 ahead, so 7 more points would put us 21 ahead with 18 remaining. But to take out the risk of John Higgins coming back to the table, the blue would be ideal as well. So let's just try and play off the cushion. We want to make sure we get a good angle on the brown. Hopefully we haven't overhit it too much. We've just gone for 32% power. We've got a perfect angle, a little bit to come back down for the blue as well. And I think that's going to be frame and match over, and we'll be able to see who we get in the third round. We're starting to make some some runs in tournaments now, and we're actually starting to get a bit disappointed if we don't reach the third round of events, and that's a really brilliant position to be in after how much we struggled early on in the season. 50% power on the brown, we've just underhit it slightly, but as long as we've got enough of an angle on the blue, we'll be able to pot it and assure the frame. A brilliant performance against the man who put us out in the quarter-final of the last competition. His experience showed on that occasion, but we've shown that we've learned pretty quickly, and fingers crossed that'll stand us in good stead as we move forward towards the end of the year. 47% power on the blue, we put it in fantastically, we've got to nudge the black. I've left myself a tricky last shot as I thought we were slightly snookered on the pink, but that's not the case at all, so we should be able to see this frame out nicely. We've just got to make sure that we don't pot the white ball, we need to make sure we don't give away points. We'll have a little go for it to the far corner, although I doubt the pink will go in. It looks like it's pretty close, to be fair, it's just bounced off the near jaw of the pocket, so no pink and black to make the break even bigger, but we have managed to wrap up the match against Higgins. A brilliant performance, the highest ranked opponent we've ever beaten in this career. He's number 6 in the world, and after losing to him last time, we've made amends on this occasion to get through to the third round of the Scottish Open. We've put him out in his home event, and I'm absolutely delighted with our performance. 220 points in the match, 49 was the highest break, and now we can look to see who we get in the third round in this BetVictor Scottish Open. There we go then, this is what I was talking about. We're starting to get some slightly friendlier draws now. So we've got 21st ranked Jimmy Robertson in the third round. A game I'd quite like to win at this point. We're playing around that standard between 20 and 30. And when we played Graham Dott of a similar ranking, we managed to edge through 3-2. So I'm not planning to show this one on camera. We're going to get through to the latter rounds hopefully. And then we'll show you one of the biggest games against the big stars to see if we can compete as we have against Higgins. If not, we'll be back for a future event. There's loads of big ones coming up towards the end of the year. We're really getting towards the deciding end of the snooker season as the Masters is coming up next month. Obviously we probably won't qualify for that, but we have towards the end of the year, obviously culminating in the World Championship, got a couple of other big tournaments coming up too. So I'm looking forward to playing in a few of those, although obviously we've got some slightly different types of events coming up. The snooker shootout in particular is one I'm looking forward to playing. If it replicates the style of the real life tournament, that'll certainly be one worth showing. We've also got the Welsh Open coming up as well. That's a tournament I quite enjoy in real life. All of the events that are hosted on the BBC in England, I really get a chance to watch quite regularly. So they're the ones we'll try and show, and anything that's a little bit unique. But hopefully we'll be able to get through against Jimmy Robertson and really get one of the big boys and go on a run in this tournament. Remember, you can come and find out how we're getting on Monday, as we'll have a bonus bank holiday episode at midday. So I hope you'll come and join me for that one, as we try to make some progress in these tournaments and on our way up the world snooker rankings. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video as always. I really do appreciate it. I hope, although we're still a little bit scrappy in positional play, that we are starting to show signs of improvement, and you can see why we're starting to sneak up the rankings and get some big name scalps on our record. Let me know down in the comments how you're getting on in your series, or which player you've been using in career mode. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, as my channel name gives away. We've also got weekly content from Snooker 19 every Friday at 4:30, as well as a bonus episode this Monday at 12, as we've talked about for the bank holiday. And then from the middle of next week, we've got plenty of content coming from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. I've really enjoyed the previous editions of the game, so I'm hoping this one will be just as good, and we'll have a regular career mode series from that one too. So plenty of content to look forward to on the channel this summer, and I hope you'll come and join along with me for it. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on Bank Holiday Monday for another big episode from this Snooker 19 career.